Welcome to Hook Connections. It's actually beautiful in Noblesville today. I mean, you know, the temperature, the sky, a little warm, but it's really pretty out. Gina and I have a guest today. His name is Drew Strobel from Griffith Law Group, and I've actually used the services of this law firm before, and recently gotten a referral from this law firm, and they've come out and they have something new now that probably the average consumer is not aware of. Drew, I welcome you. Thanks for being on the show. What in the world, number one, got you into the law business?
Well, thank you both for having me. I've wanted to be a lawyer since I was about 14. I participated in the Indiana school program called We the People, and I got to do like a mock trial, and I was the lawyer in the trial, and I just really enjoyed it and really enjoyed that style of thinking and the strategy component of it. And so yeah, I've just always kind of been driven towards the law.
How interesting. Well, I was just saying before we started, I wanted to be an attorney when I grew up. My dad said it would be a great attorney because I argued about everything. So, but anyway.
Yeah.
Well, welcome. Today we're going to start off the first segment, and we're going to talk about something that the Indiana residents probably don't know about, and that there is actually a virtual law office with the Griffith Law Group. Tell us a little bit about virtual law office, where it came from, and why the need for it.
Sure. Yeah, we recently launched our virtual office in February of this year, and we've actually been, a lot of people are familiar with websites like LegalZoom and Rocket Lawyer. They're essentially legal forms companies that they provide documents and services online. We've been counsel to LegalZoom and Rocket Lawyer for the last couple of years now, and we've kind of watched the legal industry change over the last couple of years. More and more people are going online to do stuff on their own. They're engaging in self-help to save money, and because of the internet, there's a lot of information out there. They feel they've empowered themselves with enough knowledge to do it on their own. So a lot of people are going online to form businesses, do estate planning stuff, get contracts, things like that. So we saw this growing need, and we realized that no law firm in Indiana had done this yet. And with our experience with LegalZoom and kind of the understanding of how that worked, and with their blessing, because we didn't want to compete with them. Yeah, exactly. We've launched
Especially since you're their counsel.
Yeah, right. So we launched this virtual law office. It took us about a year to develop it, and it's called IndianaVirtualLaw.com.
Right.
Feel free to check it out. But yeah, essentially what it is the way we differ from sites like LegalZoom and Rocket Lawyer is we're actually a law firm. We're licensed Indiana attorneys who provide limited scope or unbundled legal services, as they're called, online. So you can get contracts, you can form businesses, you can get a will, you can get a power of attorney, all these things online. And the idea is that because it is online, it's 24-hour availability. It's quicker, it's easier. It's primarily done through email exchange and through our website, and it's it's convenient for the customer. They don't have to interact.
And don't you think too, a lot of the residents, once they see the cost reduction, are more than likely to go ahead and get a will done, if they're not doing it. If they know who this TV goes to, and this car, and these tools, and da 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 da. It would be super simple to fill out this. So do you think the simplicity has got a lot to do with the popularity also?
Yeah, our biggest challenge, we do estate planning in our office, and typically our biggest challenge in getting clients to engage us, to retain our services, is the cost. It's not cheap to do a fully custom estate plan. And our idea behind this virtual office was to create quality forms that people could use at a lower cost, because there's less work for us to do. Therefore, we don't have to charge as much for people to get quality documents. And that's another way we differ from LegalZoom and Rocket Lawyer, is our documents are drafted by Indiana lawyers specifically for Indiana. Those national sites, their documents are so broad because they have to comply with so many states' laws.
And there might be just that little bit of hole if you're a business that might not be good.
And we see a lot of people too that will go online and find real estate documents from Florida that and they use a document that they don't need, or they don't understand what they're doing, and they put themselves in a mess. So all of our documents are Indiana specific. They're drafted by Indiana lawyers. They're forms that we use every day. We've used for years. But yeah, you're right that the cost, we're able to reduce the cost and give some different levels of cost depending on how much help they need from a lawyer. So it allows the customer to control their costs, to have a say in it rather than wait for a bill from the lawyer.
So it's a simplicity. It's using the right forms. I know when I first started my business in 2013, I went online and just looked for service contract.
Mm-hmm.
And when you just look for a service contract and you don't know what website's good and what's not, you can spend a lot of money on nothing.
Yeah.
And a lot of time looking through all that stuff.
Oh yeah. Wasted time on the internet and So.
And unfortunately, to your point, there's a lot of bad information out there. There's a lot of business and real estate gurus who write articles about stuff and they don't understand the law, or they understand the law in Illinois, but they don't understand the law in Indiana. So there's a lot of bad information out there.
Well, you guys actually specialize. I know Matt specializes. I don't know who else in the firm does in the real estate industry to help landlords. You know, so and actually, possibly even a tenant if you're not representing the landlord already.
Yeah.
So. Go ahead and give us your contact information for those of us that are going to be listening later but not viewing right now. So how can people reach out to you?
Sure. Again, my name is Drew Strobel, and you can call me at 317-663-0650, and my personal extension is 103. My email address is drew, D-R-E-W, at indybizlaw.com.
Oh, great.
And our firm website is indybizlaw.com, and then again, the virtual law office site is indianavirtuallaw.com.
Very, very interesting. I mean,
Good
I had no idea.
names too. Yeah.
Do what?
So those are good domain names too.
Yeah. From the website person and the social media person. Gina and I are hosts of this show. I'm Barbara Hook with Hook Connect, where we connect you to the honest businesses. And then Gina Scott Hawkins from Star Media. She is a social media expert, designer, logo designer. She can do just about anything, business cards, anything you need. So if Gina has a client and that client is starting a business, it would be safe for her to be able to say, maybe you need to call an attorney to make sure that you're properly protected in contracts, and then she should even maybe contact somebody about making sure her contacts are right. Even if it's just to send an email, can you take a look at this, get a charge what it would cost for that, and then just reply that,
Sure. Yeah, and actually we've set up a service on our Indiana Virtual Law site. We call it Talk to a Lawyer, and we charge a one-time $99 consultation fee. You get a 30-minute call, and you can have a document reviewed. That way people know up front what the cost is. They don't get a surprise bill in the mail. They're not reluctant to call. They prepay for it, and they know what they're going to get. So,
absolutely.
We always encourage people to reach out, not just to attorneys, but to professionals in any field, a CPA, an insurance agent, a graphic design artist, anybody, yeah.
Well, we are going to take a short break, and we will be back the next segment with Gina leading the show. And again, thank you for being here today, Drew.
Thank you.
welcome back to Hood Connections. We are here today with Drew Strobel, who is with the Griffith Law Group, and they are putting out a new product. I guess you guys have had it for a while now, called the Virtual Law Office, and it's at www.indianavirtuallaw.com, where they are able to help you with all kinds of legal services where you don't even have to leave your house. You can do it right from the comfort of your own home. So I know in the last segment we talked a little bit about some of the services that you offer, but can you talk to us a little bit about, like, what are the levels of service and how can people expect for this service to work?
Sure. So we have three primary areas that we focus on: estate planning, real estate and property management, and entity formation or small business corporate services.
Okay.
We have three levels of service depending on the area that you're getting into. Our first one is called documents only, where an individual will go online if they know what document they want. They go on, purchase it, they get an email with a PDF, and they fill it out themselves, and that's the only contact we have with them. They don't have to speak to a lawyer or anything like that. That's our lowest price level of service, essentially, because there's the least involvement from the lawyer. They're just getting a quality form, essentially.
Okay.
The next step is we call it lawyer assisted, where when they make a purchase for a document or a set of documents, depending on what they are, we're going to send them a questionnaire to gather some data. We're going to make sure they have the right document, fill it out for them, and send it back with instructions on how to complete it.
Okay.
That's priced a little higher, obviously, because there's some involvement from a lawyer.
So that's middle level.
Yeah, middle level. And then we have our full service offerings, where it's just like if somebody walked in our door. It's traditional law service, where we're going to either communicate with them over the phone for as long as they need, or bring them into our office, or go meet with them. And we're going to fully develop a fully custom estate plan or a real estate document or a business contract or anything like that.
Okay. So what if I'm not sure what I need? Am I able to send you an email that it kind of says, this is what I'm looking for, and then you can tell me which one of these services would work best for me?
Sure.
Okay.
So on our homepage, it's got kind of a video explaining, what a virtual office is, because that's the number one question we get. Like, what is it? And how's it different? So we explain that, and then down at the bottom we have a section that we offer. It's called Talk to a Lawyer, where if you don't know what document you need, or if you have a question about a specific legal matter, we charge a one-time $99 consultation fee.
Okay.
You get a 30-minute phone call. We'll review documents prior to the call if need be. That way people know up front what they're paying. They don't get a surprise bill in the mail.
Yeah.
Because nobody likes that from a lawyer.
Right.
So yeah, that's an option. And then we also have, I believe it's just called a Contact Us, where if you have a simple question, you can send in an email. And if it's something we feel we need to have a conversation with you about, we're going to direct you to that Talk to a Lawyer page.
Okay. Well, so talk to us about a client who had a situation that you guys were able to easily resolve through the virtual law office.
Sure. We recently had a client who contacted us and had a specific question about estate planning. We answered their question and told them that they needed a simple will. Their question was whether they needed a living trust or a simple will with some powers of attorney. Okay. It's a pretty common question. It comes up a lot because there's a lot of bad information out on the internet that people need these living trusts when they really don't. It ends up being more costly and more work and more risk for people than it's worth. So we called them, we spoke with them, and explained the differences, and got a little better handle on their situation, and said, well, this is what you need. They felt comfortable doing it themselves, so they actually purchased the documents only set of estate planning documents, and they were happy.
Okay, very cool.
Wow.
So you guys said you've been doing this since February.
Correct.
Do you have plans to expand this program at all, or are there things you're going to be adding to this?
Absolutely. We've only been up and running for about 3 months now, and it's going well. It's pretty steady. Our law office is a traditional law firm. These aren't just the only services we offer. We work with nonprofit organizations. We do trademark work. We do a whole host of real estate and business and estate planning work. We do trusts in the event that the client needs it or wants it. So yeah, we plan to expand by adding probably some trust documents to the estate planning side. We would definitely like to add a trademark component to the website. Yeah, it's just a matter
Can you
of time.
trademark just a logo?
Sure.
Yeah. People ask me about that all the time because I do graphic design.
Sure,
I'm like,
yeah.
well, I can print you the form off, but I'm not.
Yeah, and sites like LegalZoom, in the meantime, LegalZoom's a great resource to get a trademark. We see.
So you mentioned that you guys partner with Rocket Lawyer and LegalZoom, or one of the two, or is it both
Both.
of them? Both of them?
Yeah.
And in what capacity? Like, how does that work?
We have been the Indiana counsel for LegalZoom for the last 3 or 4 years now, I believe. And essentially what that means is when LegalZoom started, their whole concept was you don't need a lawyer, you can do this yourself. And what they came to realize was a lot of people had questions about the documents they were filling out. So they developed this, I believe they call it a legal services plan, where people pay a monthly subscription and they can have access to a lawyer in 30-minute increments. Depending on the level of subscription they buy, it's unlimited or one a month or whatever the varying levels are. We service that plan. So when they call, they talk to one of the attorneys in our law firm.
And you said that you guys are the only ones in the state of Indiana?
That's
pretty
right.
cool.
Wow, that's
Yeah.
sets you guys pretty much apart.
Yeah, we like it. And, and we get some clients out of it too, so it works out well.
Sure.
But it keeps us on our game too, because we get some pretty out there questions that we have to research before. And and as far as Rocket Lawyer is similar. They actually have an email subscription service where people submit questions via email. And we'll just get an email alert, and it's just a simple question there, and we respond and send it back.
Wow.
And then they have a referral kind of network where if people have questions, we do free consultations for them through their Rocket Lawyer subscription.
Wow. Okay. So you guys are, the whole gamut. If anything anybody needs related to law, you can pretty much handle it, or are there areas you don't cover?
There are lots of areas we don't do family law, we don't do criminal law, we don't do very much bankruptcy, things like that. Our 3 primary areas are estate planning, real estate, and business services.
Okay.
And there's spin-offs from that. There's probate work on the estate planning. There's the trademark stuff and the nonprofit stuff on the business side. So we do a whole host of stuff, not limited to what's on the virtual law office right now. But we don't do. We're not a big firm. We don't do every aspect of law. But we have relationships with other law firms that we can refer out to.
All right. Well,
they do.
Yeah. We're going to take a short break here. We want to thank our sponsors, Logan Street Signs and Banners and the Wofford Theater, for allowing us to be here today, and we'll be back in just a moment.
When Margaret and I decided to sell the old estate here, we had only one choice in signage: Logan Street Signs and Banners. Conveniently not located on Logan Street anymore, but rather located on 10th Street on the south side of Noblesville. Well, we sold the old beauty, and we were able to buy this wonderful estate. And we had so much money left over, I was able to buy this beautiful 1968 Eldorado Cadillac for Margaret. Only 472,000 miles. Margaret loves it because it's got those big seats and that heavy-duty suspension to support her svelte frame. Next time you're looking for signs or banners, call old Jim at Logan Street Signs and Banners, 773-7200. Conveniently not located on Logan Street anymore.
Everyone knows it's easy to find first-run movies in the big theaters. But where can you go to watch your favorite classic movies on the big screen for the perfect night out? Why rent a flick when you can rent the entire theater? Call today to reserve our 32-seat theater for your next event, or just stop by to see what's showing this weekend. The 14 by 7 foot screen and the high quality digital surround sound system offers all the amenities you would expect from the big theaters, with a laid back atmosphere and comfortable seating of your own home. Wofford Theater at 1744 South 10th Street in Noblesville gives you the classic movies you want with a big theater experience.
Welcome back to Hook Connections. Our guest today is Drew Strobel from Griffith Law Group. And my co-host Gina and I are here for the last segment. We ask questions together at this, probably sometimes at the same time, and we're both thinking, and our heads are, our little wheels are spinning. But of all the services that we talked about so far through the IndianaVirtualLaw.com, are there any specific services that you would like to discuss in more detail?
Sure. We have, like I said, the three primary practice areas: the estate planning, the real estate, and the entity formation or business side. Just kind of to give you an idea of what those are. On the estate planning side, we have wills, powers of attorney, living wills, those types of advanced directives. Those are all available. You can purchase them a la carte. You can purchase them as a bundle in those varying levels that we talked about. On the real estate side, we've got it's tons and tons of real estate documents, from a warranty deed to a land contract to a lease agreement, stuff that real estate professionals, mainly investors and property managers, can utilize, on day to day.
So do you work closely with MyBor on a lot of that stuff, because they're the ones that are responsible for getting a lot of the changes made?
We have our own forms that we use.
Okay.
We definitely we've used MyBor forms in the past. There may be one MyBor form on there. It's a government form, I think, that we offer for free. But a lot of those real estate documents are priced very, very low than if you were to go to a lawyer and try to have them draft it from scratch. I think documents start at like $25 or something like that. It's really cheap.
Right.
And you can purchase them as a bundle and save a bunch too. So that's kind of on the real estate side. It's just a big, long list of real estate documents. And then on the entity formation, if somebody's starting a business, an LLC or corporation, those are the two that we typically see nowadays. We have different levels of services, whether they just want an entity formed, if they know what they're doing and they just need it formed, and the documents that go along that, the organizational documents, we have that. And then if somebody needs a little bit of coaching or maybe some relationships with a CPA or an insurance agent or a graphic design artist or other professionals, then we'll meet with them and kind of coach them along in their business development. Another thing that we haven't talked about today is our annual assurance plans. And that's for the estate planning and the business services side. And essentially what it is it's an annual plan that's a one-time-a-year fee that gives the customer access to the lawyer throughout the year. For the business side, we will monitor any type of government notice, anything to do with the Secretary of State, any lawsuits, things like that. And we'll actually send you, I believe it's quarterly updates, to let you know your business is okay, it's all clear. And then obviously if we hear something negative, we're going to let you know right away and give you kind of instructions on how to proceed. On the estate planning side, it allows people to make simple changes each year as they need to. If a kid turns 18 or they sell an asset that they no longer have and that needs to be taken out of their estate plan, or they change who their personal representative they want to be, or they change guardian name, the people they named for guardians, things like that. It allows them the opportunity to make those simple changes rather than have to pay a whole new fee to have a new estate plan drafted.
Absolutely.
So, and on the estate planning side, even if we don't make any changes, we offer the ability for those customers in that annual assurance plan to just re-execute their wills. And what that does is reaffirm testamentary intent. So in the event that their wills were ever challenged, for whatever reason in the future.
So they were reviewed annually.
Yeah, it shows that, each year this is what they wanted, so it makes it much harder to challenge that will.
Right, and I'm sure a lot of people do challenge those wills.
Yeah, we're seeing that more and more.
And why do you think that is?
Crazy family members. Greedy people.
I got some of those too.
So basically what you're saying is this assurance plan is kind of like your version of a membership to your organization versus getting one through Rocket Lawyer or something like that.
That's right. Yeah, the LegalZoom and Rocket Lawyer, that's more for contact. Being able to speak with an attorney, whether through email or on the phone. We don't have that. We have that talk to a lawyer feature where they can pay once and get their call. The annual assurance plan, we're going to actually, on the business side, like I said, do some monitoring there. And then on the estate planning side, it's at the very least, it's a re-execution of their document to reaffirm that intent. And then, if they have changes they need to make or
They
questions.
just bought a new
they just-
RV that they want to
Yeah,
leave
exactly.
to their
Exactly.
niece. Yeah.
They
Or if they get divorced or,
yeah.
things like that.
Okay. Very cool. Is there anything you said? Where's your office located?
We're located on the west side at 10th and 465.
Okay.
It's just west of Speedway. We say Speedway.
By the Lowe's.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Right behind the Lowe's, yeah.
Okay.
It's a 3-story concrete and glass office building there.
Gotcha.
I graduated from Speedway
Yeah.
long
And
before you were even thought of.
and you said you guys are members of the Speedway or
The Speedway Chamber of Commerce. Yep.
Okay. And so you go to meetings and all that
Yeah.
good stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
And there's some community involvement there, and I know there was a ton of stuff in May because of the race. It was a pretty popular time. And Main Street's totally changing down there. There's a lot of really cool stuff going in.
And how's the new travel going with the new roundabout in Georgetown being closed? I heard it was just horrible
Really?
getting into the track. Extra 2 hours.
I didn't go to the race this year, but I heard kind of mixed reviews. I
Yeah,
think a lot of people
yeah.
that come in from out of town were a little confused because
Right.
they weren't used to getting those updates. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
I
But
didn't
Main
have a
Street's really
problem
nice.
with
Yeah.
So I have a great connection you probably need to meet, and I'll just have to introduce you by email, and that is a home inventory expert.
Okay.
So that would be good for your estate planning for
Absolutely.
people because they probably don't do inventories and have no clue what things are worth. So
Absolutely.
next week, we have a very motivated individual that's going to be on our show. It's Kathy Tooley. She is actually an educator, a consultant, and a speaker. And we're going to talk about her new book, and I can't even remember the name of the title, but it's What About Our System is Broken. It's not actually released yet, but it will be soon. So we'd like to thank you, Drew, for being on the show today, and of course, Gina, your always smiling face. And we would also like to thank Logan Street Signs and Banners and Wofford Theater for having us here today. It's not our normal day, so Jim was able to come in and get it done today for us. So we will see you next week. Next week we will be here on Wednesday at 3 o'clock.
How do they get a hold of Hook Connect?
Oh, you get a hold of Hook Connect by dialing 317-473-3778. And our website where you can request a service provider is www.hookconnect.com. And Gina, how about you?
You can reach me at 317-523-5029, and you can reach me at star-media-group.com.
We will see you next week.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you.